Welcome. You're tuned into Tangled Threads. If you're digging our content, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I never would have thought I'd be one of these people making a post, but here I am. I'm feeling a little lost, so I thought I'd come to this sub to seek advice. So, there's a couple of things that have made me suspicious lately. For starters, my wife is always complaining about a guy from her work. I'm just going to call him Mark for simplicity. She constantly tells me what an ass he is, and that no one at her workplace can stand him. Yet, she talks about him. A lot. I mean, a bit too often for my comfort, if I'm being honest. And then there's the thing with her nail appointments. They've been taking way longer than they used to. One day, my curiosity got the better of me, and I drove by the salon to check on her. There she was, walking out of the coffee shop next door, saying goodbye to some guy. She looked surprised to see me, but not overly so. When I asked her about it, she told me he was an old classmate from elementary school. She seemed calm, and her explanation didn't feel forced. But the thing that's really bugging me happened at the grocery store last week. I had to run back to grab a loaf of bread we forgot, and when I returned, she was trying to end a conversation with another guy. She was visibly nervous this time. She told me he was a guy who had married one of her distant cousins, and that she found him annoying. She seemed relieved when I showed up. I checked it all out on Facebook, and sure enough, this guy Charles was in fact married to his third cousin, Marcia. All I know is that our love life has been lackluster lately, and she's always on her phone. I mean, she's always been attached to it, but it seems to be increasing. Maybe I'm just losing my mind. So, yeah, I'm worried, and I don't know where to begin with this. Confronting her outright feels like a bad move, and I'm not about to play detective without some solid advice. Who do you all think she might be cheating with, if she is at all? Mark, the classmate, the cousin's husband, or am I just being paranoid? And how should I approach this? Any advice or insights would be greatly appreciated. I just want to know the truth, but I'm not sure how to get there without causing a whole scene. Thanks in advance. Here are a few of the responses that he received. Response 1. Hey there. I've taken the time to consider your situation based on what you've shared. It strikes me that there might be a bit of an overreaction happening on your end. It's worth noting that it's perfectly normal for the dynamics of a relationship to shift as time goes on. Having been married for over a decade and a half myself, I can attest to the roller coaster that marriage can be. People evolve, emotions ebb and flow, and it's all part and parcel of sharing a life with someone. The frustration she expresses about Mark could simply be her way of letting off steam. We've all had that colleague who just gets under our skin. As for the nail appointments and those seemingly random encounters, they could genuinely be coincidental. The cornerstone of any healthy relationship is communication. Perhaps it's time for a heartfelt discussion about your concerns? It's possible this is a temporary bump in the road, and facing it together could actually strengthen your bond. Before leaping to conclusions, take a moment to breathe and attempt to view the situation from a wider angle. Wishing you all the best in navigating through this. Response 2. It seems Mark is at the heart of your worries. There's often truth to the saying that when someone frequently complains about another person, it might indicate a deeper preoccupation with them. I've seen it happen before. A friend's partner couldn't stop talking about a so-called annoying colleague, only to discover there was an affair happening. A noticeable change in intimacy is also a signal worth paying attention to. It might be beneficial to address your concerns about Mark directly with her. Get to the bottom of their connection. Alternatively, doing a bit of investigating yourself before bringing it up could be insightful. Hang in there and take care. Response 3. Listening to your intuition is crucial. If you're sensing that something's not right, often your instincts are onto something. My suspicion leans towards Charles, given the uneasy vibe you mentioned. The first step could be to discreetly examine her phone for any clues. Texts, calls, social media interactions, the lot. If that's not feasible, following her discreetly or considering a private investigator might be your next move. If you're hesitant to go it alone, perhaps a trusted friend could lend a hand. Securing tangible evidence is essential before confronting her. Without it, denial and better concealment could follow. Having been in a similar spot, I can tell you that waiting passively for the truth rarely works out. It's better to proactively seek out the facts. Once you have the evidence, you can address the issue head-on. wishing you strength and clarity moving forward. Here is his follow-up post. Hey everyone, I'm back, and you won't believe the roller coaster I've been on since my last post. Firstly, thank you for all the advice and messages. It meant the world in those insane moments of doubt and confusion. So, here's the update. I took some of your advice to heart, especially those of you who told me to trust my instincts and those suggesting getting some professional help. No, not therapy, though God knows it feels like I need it now, but a PI. I hired this guy, not cheap, but efficient. And, well, my gut wasn't wrong. Every Wednesday, my wife and Mark had a ritual, an early leave from work and a cozy hotel room. The PI got it all, pictures, videos. It was undeniable. I felt like I was in some bad movie, you know? It's crazy how your entire reality can shatter with just a bunch of photos. So I started doing some digging, and get this, Mark has a wife. Surprise. Her name is Shannon. What really was a surprise is that she is actually beautiful. I figured she deserved to know, so I reached out. We met at a coffee shop across town. I showed her everything, the proof. And man, the whirlwind of emotions that spiraled through her eyes was something I'll never forget. We were both victims, strangers yet companions in this messed up journey. Now here's where it gets wild. Shannon, with tears barely dry, came up with this plan of revenge. I mean, I was all about getting revenge. But being in that hotel room when they got there, and surprising them, not with anger, but by being caught in the act ourselves. I mean, she's attractive, but hell, I was still reeling, you know? I couldn't do it. I walked out of the coffee shop. We agreed on revenge. But this was another level. Before I left, I told her that we should talk in a day or two. Hat revenge was great, but that this was too far. That night, while my wife and I were eating supper, she started her usual rant about Mark. Every word was a needle, pricking and prodding the festering wound of betrayal. I wanted to explode, confront her right there, but I held it together. Barely. The next day, still raw and reeling, I messaged Shannon. Hours turned into an eternity as I waited for her response. Paranoia set in. Was I a pawn in some sick game? Was this her revenge? Just when I was about to lose it completely, her message popped up. She was still in, her plan unchanged. The following week, with Shannon's plan echoing in my mind and my nerves a chaotic mess, I found myself in the hotel's lobby. Adrenaline and anxiety coursed through my veins as I approached the desk, flowers and chocolates in hand as props for my act. I told the lady at the desk that I came early to try to get into the room my wife had booked. I told her it was our anniversary and that I wanted to get in there and get things set up for my wife's arrival. The clerk handed over the key with a knowing smile, and the plot unfolded. Shannon met me at the side door, her face a mix of anger, excitement, and something undefinable. We were two betrayed souls, stepping into a set of circumstances that neither of us had asked for. We waited in that room, every passing minute a confrontation with the reality of our spouse's betrayal. Finally, my wife's car made its way into the parking lot. It was time. As beautiful as Shannon is, I have to admit, I nearly couldn't perform due to stage fright. But I somehow managed to get things going, and my anger and rage turned into a passionate fury of revenge. Then, just a few minutes later, they walked in, and the looks on their faces? Priceless and painful all at once. They knew that they had been caught, and the tables had been turned. The confrontation was as messy as you'd imagine. Shouting, accusations, the whole dramatic affair. I mean, I was naked for crying out loud, and banging another man's wife, right in front of my wife. Jesus, man. After they stormed out, Shannon and I, well, we were caught in this weird space. Betrayal and revenge, it's a potent mix. And in that moment of victorious confrontation, a wild, rebellious energy took hold. We got our revenge all right, in more ways than one. After we both came down from it all, we talked for a bit before getting ourselves dressed and leaving the hotel. I went home and my wife was not there. I got myself a snack and waited for her to finally show up. The confrontation with my wife was as explosive as a pack of dynamite. In the aftermath, amidst the smoke and debris of a love I once believed invincible, the decision echoed loud and clear: divorce. I told her it was over, and that I was filing the next day if I could. I told her to get her shit and to get out. A few days later, she did just that, but not before trying several times to beg and plead for forgiveness. Then when I would not forgive her, she would get angry and tell me I was doing the same thing. I mean, I did, that one time. But she tried to make me out to be a cheater by nature, and like I had been doing this for a while myself. I shut that shit down. No freaking way, woman. I did that to get back at her and to make her feel some pain, like I was feeling. I mean, sure, it was probably wrong, but my marriage was over. I might as well take the gloves off and start completely annihilating what was already done for. As for Shannon and Mark, they met the same fate. Foundations built on lies and deception are as stable as sand, and their castle crumbled just as swiftly. I still talk to Shannon now and then. She even came over once for round 2 of Revenge, this time without an audience. I'm not saying that we are going to be a couple, but it's nice to put the fire out now and then, and we do get along really well, obviously. Anyway, so here I am, battered yet unbroken, the truth my cruel yet necessary companion. It's a bitter pill, but I'm swallowing it down with the harsh chaser of reality. I'm not the same man who first posted here, drowning in doubts and suspicions. The truth, as agonizing as it was, has set me on a new path. I feel dirty, yet more mature. I feel like I was naive before, but now I have somehow gotten a new understanding on the complexities of this life and how to handle them. So if there's anything to take from my twisted tale, it's this. Take the leap, confront the demons, and embrace the agonizing yet liberating truth. In the scorched earth of betrayal, the seeds of a new beginning lie waiting. Through the flames, beyond the pain, there's a rebirth, raw yet real, waiting for those brave enough to walk through the fire. I hope my story, as messed up as it is, serves as a stark reminder and perhaps an inspiration. Action, confrontation, and the harrowing journey to truth. It's a path walked alone, yet one that leads to a destination where the air, though tinged with the acrid smoke of burnt bridges, offers the first breaths of a life reclaimed. Life is gritty. Embrace the grit, I guess, and make something out of this for yourself. Good luck and thanks again. Well, damn, that was a long story. I'm tired after that one, so I'll keep this moving. Anyways, let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more Tangled threads.